Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Russ of the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. This morning, myself and Anton had a bit of a discussion looking at the stats coming at the game yesterday in the tactical breakdown with help from Statman Ben. And at 6 o'clock UK time, we have got the Academy show, talking about the Academy, any news that's happened with the Academy, the players out on loan who are in the Academy, that type of thing. So make sure you join us for that. 6 p.m. tonight, or this afternoon, depends what your perception of the afternoon is. But it is Hammers Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Check them out in the description below. Over 25 years, latest news, reviews, and opinions. We are but just over 3 weeks away from the transfer window opening. And this is, I must warn you, and again, air horn. This is a transfer segment. We're going to be talking about transfers and talking about players who've been linked with, as we continue to be linked with a lot of players. So let's start. And let's start about some scouting missions that West Ham have been on, according to ex-Derbyshire employee and 𝗧𝗓𝗄 as well. Several sources have reported that West Ham have reportedly sent scouts to Portugal's 𝗧𝗛𝗛 𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗨𝗚𝗔𝗟 last Thursday to watch Porto's win over Nice. And it's believed we have been looking at a number of players there as the Portuguese revolution continues, as you imagine, with Nuno Espirito Santos at the helm and Jorge Mendes as his right-hand man in terms of the transfers. There is slight concern in terms of, I think there should be a lot more concern, to be honest, in terms of the fullback situation, particularly with the AFCONs. They've got, in essence, one more game, the Villa game, before we lose 𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗏 and Diouf for what could be up to 5 to 6 weeks based on how well their teams progress. However, we do have KWP, but there are not many options at the moment. Obviously, 𝗧𝗛𝗓 would naturally fit into the left-hand side. However, he's obviously still recovering from collarbone surgery. So, we are looking at potential cover and potential players. And it's believed that when scouts were at Porto, they were looking at Alberto Costa and Francisco Moura, who played in the fullback positions. And it suggested, as I said, concerns around the injuries to 𝗧𝗛𝗓 and the two fullbacks going to the AFCONs. Also, apparently being looked at during that game was Martin Fernandes and Gabri Veiga. So it does seem, we've obviously been linked with the likes of Jose Sarr as well. It does look like the Portuguese revolution is starting to take shape. We wait and see. Another scouting mission, another bunch of players we've been linked with. Obviously, you'd have probably seen on I think it was an X, it was a video at FC Michelad, and they were sort of following all the desks that were scouted. There were players scouted. It was like team scouting. One was West Ham, where we were led, obviously, to be looking at Franklin Duge. Now, we have also apparently have interest in a couple of other players. And this gentleman here, Ousmane Diaw, and also Caleb Yinkerenki, who, Diaw here is a centre-half, and Caleb Yinkerenki is a 20-year-old Ghanaian midfielder from FC Nordsjælland. So as well as Michelin, we're looking at Nordsjælland as well. And it's believed we are looking at all alternatives. Also, the Pro League, we mentioned Promise David. There was reports coming out today in 𝗧𝗓𝗄 that our chances of getting him are slim because of the fact is everyone wants him, and we are in a relegation battle, and so it might not be the most attractive option. But it does seem that we're looking at far and wide for potential players to come in. Clearly, the forward position for me is the key one. Interesting that we're looking at, Ousmane Diaw. He's a centre half. I still think we need cover there, particularly if Max Kilman, potentially could be moved on, and maybe that money could be reinvested. And speaking of that, another player we've been linked with, another centre half, and I think we've been proverbially linked with this guy for about 4 or 5 transfer windows, is Disasi, Axel Disasi. According to reports, several clubs are lining up concrete moves for Disasi ahead of the winter transfer window. Us, Newcastle, Juventus, Galatasaray, and Borussia Dortmund are apparently all interested in signing him in January, and probably a few more as well. He's the Chelsea move hasn't really worked for him. I mean, it's a shame because when he was I think he was at Monaco, and I really wanted him at Monaco when he was at Monaco because he's a bit of a unit, and I just think we needed a bit more physicality in the centre half positions. However, it hasn't worked out for him, to be honest, at Chelsea, and so looking to resurrect his career somewhere else, whether it's in the Premier League or, as we got here, it could be Germany, could be Turkey, could be Italy. But it's another name to be added to the list that's ever growing by the day. And that's it, my friends. Short and sweet, just like me. As keep an eye on the West Ham Network for latest news. Any interest, any more transfer news, team news we bring to you as always. And also don't forget to check out kneesatmummabrand.com for latest news, reviews, and opinions. But until that time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm. Don't forget we've got the Academy show, 6 o'clock tonight as well. And I'll see you on the Flippity Flop. Much love. Peace out, my foes.